thanks for coming, and thanks to GameOn and all the team for having me today. My name is Lorenzo Pilia, and today I'll be talking about how to build a local game dev community. The slides and links I will be showing are available at lorenzo.pilia.it/makingascene, so you don't have to take notes now. Some words about myself. I'm based in Berlin, Germany, where I work as an event curator, producer, and host on a variety of different projects. I'm the program manager for Amaze Berlin, an international festival dedicated to independent games and playful media. I'm also part of the Global Game Jam Executive Committee. I'm the city organizer for meetup.com, a service dedicated to scheduling events. So basically, I help out new organizers getting started. Since 2013, I've been organizing every 2 months Talk and Play, an event about games for everyone. I also organized 2 editions of Join, Local Multiplayer Summit, an event focused on digital games that you can play with other people in the same physical space. I run berlingamescene.com, a site with a calendar of the game-related events happening in the city, and job ads and more. And last but not least, I'm part of Saftladen, an indie game collective and a shared working space in Berlin. So, as you can tell from the list of things I just show you that I do, I really love bringing people together. I find it incredibly powerful when people gather in the same space and get to know each other, when they exchange knowledge and share experiences. Since you've decided to come to GameOn today, and I think you already know what I'm talking about, otherwise you wouldn't be here. I also believe that bringing people together is fundamental in order to build a local game dev community. I mean, you can have like Facebook groups, Slack and Discord servers, subreddits, and so on to talk with other people online. But there's a certain type of knowledge knowledge exchange, and a certain type of connections which can only happen when you meet in real life. So I think it's really important to meet with other people in real life. And today I would like to present you some examples of different event formats that I hope will inspire you to start something similar where you live or join other existing initiatives in your area. So, some examples. I would start with Talk and Play. Of the events formats I will be presenting today, this is the only one I made. The other ones are made by other people. Talk and Play, we call it an event about games for everyone. The format is quite simple. We have short talks and community announcements during the first part, followed by a game showcase and networking phase. So basically, anyone can bring a game they've made and exhibit it, and people can play these games. We have 200 people participating to every edition of Talk and Play, and on average, 20 games are being showcased. It takes place during the week on a Tuesday night from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., so 4 hours in total. So it's quite short. It's kind of like very compressed, like a mini conference, if you like. The goal of the event is to give the opportunity to anyone interested in games to meet, share experiences, and promote their activities, and make the local game scene bigger, more diverse, and more interesting. We had 33 editions of the event so far. It all started in 2013, and it started because of a conversation I had at a local game dev meetup I went to. This was a game dev meetup happening that somebody else had organized. Basically, I was there on my own. I didn't know anyone, and at some point, I finally managed to get the courage to speak with somebody, one of the attendees. And then this person asked me, are you a game developer? And I said, no. They asked me, are you a game designer? And I said, no. Then they asked me, are you maybe a game development or game design student? And I said, no, I don't do any of these things. I'm just like interested in games and I wanted to come. And then they asked me, what are you doing here then? And this was my reaction, my emotional table flipping. Basically, I think it's already hard enough to go to an event where you don't know anyone and feel like an outsider. And when somebody really explicitly tells you this, it can make you feel pretty bad. And I must admit, I was like feeling quite terrible for a few days, but also this kind of interaction really pushed me to start organizing my own game meetup. I decided to organize a meetup where everyone would be welcome, even people without any experience or background in the game industry, and that's how Talk and Play started. So we started out in a small co-working space. As you can see, the room was getting quite crammed. Maybe there were like 50, 60 people in total. And then we moved to a bigger co-working event space. And then this space closed. And then we did one edition at the local game dev company. Then we moved to the Game Science Center, which is a very cool space in Berlin. It's an exhibition space and event space. And at the beginning, it looked like this, and then, thanks God, they expanded to a bigger room. And basically, that's how it looks these days. That's how it looks right now, Talk and Play. These are some more other images of what the room looks like during the first part of the evening. This is the networking part. And this is the game showcase. So you can see it's very casual. We provide some tables and like chairs and power plugs, and people can just bring their laptop and show the games or like their tablet. And people can just play, have a drink, talk. And we also have board games, tabletop games, so card games sometimes. And this was a zombie playing last year on Halloween. And sometimes, to make things more entertaining, we also have music performances. And these are some numbers from the event. So in total, from the first 30 editions, we had like 4,000 RSVPs. We showcased more than 400 games. And we had more than 100 talks. And since we started out 5 years ago, the event has also been replicated in some other German cities, 2 other German cities. So there's 3 editions of Talk and Play happening now around Germany. And just 2 stories connected to Talk and Play that I always like to mention of people who came to Talk and Play and kind of they grow together with us. This is Johanna Janiszewski. She came the first time to Talk and Play in 2015 with this like prototype of a mobile game, educational mobile game she had called Monkey's Wag. And she showed it to the people and the feedback was quite good, and so she decided to push it further and to keep developing the game. And last year, she won one of the German Game Development Awards. And yeah, so it was quite nice. She really started out. She grew together with us with the event. And also, this is a very bad picture. Was taken on a bad phone 5 years ago. This is like Arnold and Wiebke from the studio Tiny Touch Tales. They were at the very first Talk and Play event where they gave a talk about their work, and since then they released a lot of other games. The most successful ones are Card Crawl and Card Thief. They're quite successful mobile games on iOS and Android. And they also won one of the German Game Development Awards. So it was quite interesting to see 2 people who brought, very early, very rough prototypes of the game, of their games at the event at Talk and Play, and we saw these games like grow together with the event. And one of the main reasons why I think Talk and Play has been so successful is that it provides value to many different groups of people. So from game enthusiasts to players to professional game makers to students to hobbyists and indie game makers. Everyone has a reason to come and get something out of it. And yes, so this was Talk and Play. The next event format I'd like to talk about is game jams. I don't know if everyone knows what a game jam is. For those who don't know, we have Wikipedia, which says a game jam is a hackathon for video games. It is a gathering of people for the purpose of planning, designing, and creating one or more games within a short span of time, usually ranging from between 24 and 72 hours, and some even longer. The Global Game Jam is the biggest and most famous example. It takes place at the end of January all over the world. I know here in Lithuania it happened in 5 different cities this year, so you should go check globalgamejam.org or gamejam.lt to find out more about the Global Game Jams in your area here. The Global Game Jam, like most game jams, is 48 hours long. But in Berlin, we also have a different format called the Berlin Mini Game Jam, which is 8 hours long. And it happens every month on a Saturday, and it's been happening since more than 8 years. So there has been more than 100 editions of the event so far. So I've got some pictures from their website. Doesn't look like much. You know, I think like actually game making, if you know, it's quite boring when you see people doing it. So, but you have like a mix of people, you know, developing, and there's some people doing artwork, some people doing music, and board games, tabletop games as well. And the day, the minigame jam ends with presentations open to the public, where everyone gets a few minutes to show what they've made. In 8 hours, you probably won't create a full game, but this is a great opportunity to learn, try new things, experiment, and also fail. What I can tell you is that after all these years of monthly minigame jams in Berlin, we got a lot of people who are very good at rapid prototyping. Another session, another kind of format I find very interesting is the playtesting session. So this is Adrian de Jong. Is a very talented game developer based in Amsterdam. Most famous probably for Hidden Folks, his most recent game. And Adrian has a lot of ideas, and one of his ideas was also to create a Play Dev Club, which is also the URL of the initiative. Basically, Play Dev is an event for game designers to play test each other's games in progress. So here are the rules on their website. Everyone brings a prototype or game in progress, pizza when you arrive, play and discuss games in progress of all attendees. So this is what it looks like. Again, people are not just bringing their game, putting them on a table. And what I like about this event format is that it's quite easy to make it happen. If the group is not that big, you could do it in a meeting room of an office, for example. And if you've ever made a game, you know that proper, in-depth, in real-life feedback from other developers can be really useful, particularly at an early stage when you're developing a game. So the next format, the co-learning session, is even easier to pull off because you really just need a space and you don't even need the game prototypes. This is a format that the Unity 3D Berlin meetup group has been running for a while. Yes, this is how they describe it. They say these sessions are for anyone interested in learning Unity, professional, hobbyists, students, literally anyone. The idea is to get together and make things in Unity. If you get stuck on something, you can ask for help from another participant. If you want to start a group project, you can find people to work with. So basically, usually 10 to 20 people show up with different levels of knowledge of Unity. You have complete beginners who just install the software. You have people who've been working with Unity for like 5, 10 years, a bit of everything. At the beginning of the event, there's a quick round of introductions where people say what they do and what they like to learn with Unity. Then everyone takes out their laptop, and for the next basically 2-3 hours, people are just helping each other, asking questions, showing stuff they worked on, and everyone is learning, I think even the people who are teaching, they often learn a lot by doing this. And this format, here in this case, they're doing Unity, but this format could, of course, easily be adapted to whatever software, programming language, or skill you'd like to learn. So, yeah. So if instead of Unity, it could be Unreal, but it could be even just like, game development in general. So it's just really up to you. As a last format, I'd like to mention, I have the having like a regular social gathering. It could be like to meet with people to have drinks or lunch or dinner and meet with other people who are involved in games in your same area. All you need to do is like really just to book a table or at a bar or in a cafe or a restaurant, and then let people know about it. It's even easier if you just say, yeah, let's meet the first, Tuesday of every month or something like that. And this is quite common in a lot of countries. We've got something similar in Berlin. I know in Brighton, I know in London they have similar events. And I think it's a quite nice way to catch up with people in a relaxed environment, you know? Like often people think that just because they're in the same space, in the same city, they get opportunities to meet, but often it's not the case, right? Like during the week, people are busy working, and having something maybe in the evening gives a nice opportunity to meet in a relaxed way. So to recap, these are the 5 event formats which I just presented. They can all be, I think, they can all easily be replicated and adapted to your local needs without too much work, as long as you have access to a physical space. And I know sometimes people think like finding a space is hard, but if you think about, if you ask around, you know, for example, it could be a school, could be a university, or often these universities and schools, they're happy to provide some other spaces, you know. Or it could be an office, maybe the office where you work, or a friend of yours works, or it could be a local game development company, you know. And, or a co-working space. So just look a bit around, ask, if you don't have any idea which space you could use, just ask other people or do a bit of research, look at other Facebook events where they took place. And for those who never ever organized an event before, I have distilled the top 3 most important tips, in my opinion. So when organizing a community event, it's important that it happens. It's very important it happens on a regular basis. A regular basis doesn't mean that it has to be every single month. It could even be every 2, 3, or 4 months. That's also perfect. Having it happen regularly means that people will expect it, plan for it, put it on their calendars, and invite other people. And I know a lot of people, a lot of organizers, you know, first-time organizers that they start with an event and they say, okay, we're going to do it every month, but it can become a lot of work very, very quickly. So yeah, just remember, it doesn't have to be monthly, but it's nice. It's much better if it's regular. Then, second tip, keep going, don't stop. So if you start a new event from scratch, at the beginning, it's very, very likely that not many people will come. Because, you know, because you're doing it for the first time, you don't know how to advertise an event, people don't know about it. So there are a lot of reasons why at the beginning it might not be very crowded. So what happens often is that first-time organizers, they do an event once or twice, they don't see much interest, and then they stop doing the event. But you need to give the opportunity for the event to grow. Building a community takes a long time. So don't give up immediately. Try going for, I don't know, for at least a year or so, I would say. Try to doing at least, 3, 4 events before giving up. Don't do it, once or twice and then say, okay, that's it, because only my friends came. And then last tip I have is like that size doesn't matter. Even if you do the event a few times and then it's only like 10 people or 15 people, you should ask yourself, I don't know, is that really a problem if it's a small group? I mean, having an intimate small group of people also has its advantages. Sometimes, events, they grow too much and then they can become impersonal, they lose that kind of special atmosphere. And so yeah, growing is not always the best thing, And also, if you live in an area where there's not much going on, if there's not a lot of people doing games, you cannot grow to an event with 200 people, So you also have to be realistic in terms of expectations in your area. One final note, before getting started with your own event, make sure to check what's already happening in your area. If there's other people organizing something, try to collaborate with them. Here in Lithuania, you have the Lithuanian Game Developer Association. You can go to gamedev.lt and find out about their activities. They also have a Slack group you can join. They also organize the Global Game Jams in Lithuania. And gamedev.lv instead is the Latvian Game Developer Association. And then there is this cool website made by my friend Riyad, which is called gamecollectives.com, where you can find a map of different game communities around the world if you need more inspiration. I think it's always good to do at the very beginning some research about what other people have been doing. And yeah, if you still need help or you want to bounce some ideas, yeah, you can get in touch with me. Again, the slides are available lorenzo.pilia.it/makingascene. I'm at Lorenzo Pilia on Twitter, and that's my email address. And thank you.